Good afternoon, my friends. This is LV with another episode of the Plantation of the Mind. As an elder and as one that helped to carry people to a plantation mind, I feel called to do my due part in bringing people from that plantation mind. Now that I know better, it's time for me to do better. And it's time for my generation, elders, people that are like me. I'm over 50, I'm 52, and it's time for us to tell the truth to the younger generation. You see, do you remember stories about the boogeyman? The boogeyman, he was in the closet. And as a little kid, when you got put in bed, they'd say, hey, if you get out of bed and if you get up, the boogeyman might get you. So you better stay in bed so the boogeyman won't get you in the bed. And so you'd pull the covers over your head and you like, I'm going to stay in the bed until the morning comes because I don't want to get got by the boogeyman. And, you know, when I look at my life and my story, I feel like people gave me a fear factor, a boogeyman as it is, racism, injustice, how evil and racist America truly is. And I grew up in the 90s for the most part. And I grew up and I'm hearing that, that's when rap is out there and NWA and all of the gangster movies, is beginning to come out. And they're telling the story of how unjust America is. And I'm eating it hook, line, sinker. I'm believing it all. And as I told you the last time, I believed it until I found out that nobody cared that life was passing me by. Nobody cared that I had my good excuses of why it wasn't working for me. The excuses were not building anything for me. I was just being passed by in life until I looked at my father's generation and those men and women and black culture before thug culture. There was a culture, and that culture, as we said before, was on the principles of faith in God, family values, and hard work. And when I began to apply those principles, the boogeyman of racism and injustice went away. I found out that, that was a tactic to keep me in bed. It kept me from taking my gift and my skill and my faith and my belief and my visions to the markets of life. And I became saddened in a way that, I wasted a lot of years fearing systems of men and not developing and honing my skills for what I believed in and what I was called to do. And so if you would think about that and say, a lot of my generation and generations before me. Now, I believe if you go far enough back, even though that generation didn't give many excuses, they had a good excuse to give of why they could not achieve. And then it came down to my generation, and I'm still talking about racism and the boogeyman. And there's really, the truth was, I was not trying much. I was not honing a skill. I was not working and laboring to build myself, to grow myself, my skills. I was busy trying to be cool, trying to fit in, trying to live that cultural pop, hip hop, thug-ish life and trying to connect to a culture that wasn't worth connecting to. And my failure was more connected to my lack of effort, my lack of taking any skill to the market. That would probably be the truth. And yet I was telling everybody it's because of racism and it was because of injustice and how the systems were built to keep us down. And no, honestly, I was lying. I just wasn't doing nothing. Lazy and trying to check out. And you gave me a great blanket called the boogeyman, racism and all the excuses. And so I could sit there and do nothing and blame it on the man. But there comes a point in time where as we grow up and we mature, it's good for us to tell the truth to this younger generation, to give them an opportunity to not have to live in the lie for too long. And to say, no, listen, today, if you're not succeeding, check yourself. Look in the mirror, friend. I'm telling you, these three principles trump racism and injustice all day long. It did it in very severe times, and it'll do it today. If you'll practice faith in God, believing that man is not in control, the God that sits high, he looks low, and he's in control. That's the God I serve. And then family values. Teaching a generation the values of morals, hard work, discipline, ethics, morality, treating people with the same tactics that you would want to be treated, walking in a spirit of peace and love and brotherly fellowship, and then just hard work, being willing to believe in something enough to work hard for it. Put yourself in the grinder of learning, of disciplining yourself to get a trade, a skill, a gift, a vision, or whatever it might be that you believe you're called to do, believing in something and working for it. If you'll do that, friend, I don't care your color. I don't care your age. I don't care none of the aesthetics. Victory is possible. And I know 50 million excuses that people will tell you, well, I tried that. Try again. Well, I went for an interview and I was an economist. I got a degree and I went and they hired all white people and they didn't hire me. So therefore it's racism. Friend, if you got a degree as an economist, well, you should know something about the economy. Take what you've learned and go build something for yourself. They might have done you the greatest favor in shutting that door so you can just get out there and learn to fly straight out the nest. And God will open great doors for you. And if that door shuts, pick another one. That life ain't easy. Success ain't easy. It ain't guaranteed. Nobody's got to pick you and say, man, I see in you greatness. Maybe they don't see it yet. But don't let that become the boogeyman that keeps you from taking your gift to the market, my friend. I just want to be honest and tell you the truth. I lied back in the day. It wasn't people, racism, systems keeping me down when I was down. It was me not applying myself. And that's the honest truth. And so for you and your generation, if that was true for me, and I'm 52, young man, young woman, don't tell me about the systems and the man. Get up, get out, go do something with your life. You can do it. You can win. God bless you. This is LV with the Plantation of the Mind.